Joe must go! Joe must go! Joe must go! Joe must go! Joe must go!
To speak. Thank you. Come on.
Thank you, Captain. Hi, everybody. There's no microphone. I don't know if you can hear me that well. I'll try and yell. I don't yell that well. There's a lot of angles to this story about healthcare in America and healthcare access that you've heard in the news and media over months and months. And I think everyone here agrees, you're the choir. We all know we need a strong public option. That's right? Now, I decided, I picked one topic. There's 30 I could pick, but I chose one topic today, one angle to talk about, which I think is, I believe, I believe, is a way to seduce and induce senators, congresspeople, and movers and shakers to think more seriously about making this happen. Now, compassion and love and decency and kindness are abstracts, important abstracts, but they're a tough sell. What I want to talk about today is an angle called the pocketbook, the power of the purse.
Yeah.
A lot of talk that's going to happen next year or so, I believe, and many people believe, will be about jobs, unemployment, jobs going overseas. And it's very, very, very strongly connected to this public option thing. I think that's an angle to get votes in Congress to actually make this happen, as opposed to kind of getting an emotional response. We want a voting response. So this actually occurs. How is it connected to jobs? In 2 or 3 very important ways. One is, when a company has to pay for health care and health insurance, they can't hire you. In fact, they got to leave the country, and all those jobs go overseas. Woo! Millions and millions of our jobs go overseas because Japan, China, Denmark, Holland, Germany, France, Italy, on and on and on, do not pay any health. They have national health care systems. So corporations in those countries don't pay for health care. We cannot compete, and that is unacceptable.
Unacceptable!
So, if you want to keep jobs in America, which I think is a huge thing, a huge selling point for everyone, people can really understand that. There's a lot of jobless people out there now, 10, 50% in some areas. You want jobs? You need to have a public option. Because then the employers, when they don't have to pay millions and millions and millions and billions to health insurance companies, they can hire you and keep the jobs here in our country. Woo! That's one big connection. Another big connection, the foreclosure thing. People who lose their job, lose their home because of a medical catastrophe. The insurance company, even if they have insurance, doesn't matter because it's capped. Once the cap is met, in a few months, they're homeless. You lose everything. You end up on the state, which is called Medicaid in this state. But once you lose your job and lose your house, you end up on Medicaid. Oxford won't pay for you. Aetna won't pay for you. None of those corporations will pay for you because you're broke. And then they dump you on the state, which is paid for in tax dollars. So without a public option, these people have to end up on the state anyway. So it's kind of a de facto public option, just a really bad one. So it's a big financial loss to foreclose on a family. It costs more money. It's way cheaper to let them keep their house. You know, we gave $700 billion to Wall Street to bail them out. That was complete beat crap. Bush did it for $700 billion, and Obama did it for $700 billion. That's a lot of money. When you know, a billion here, a billion there, adds up to a lot of money. We have 2 wars going on, which are really occupations. That's a lot of money. That's a tenth of what it would cost to have a public option. The reason they're terrified, the bad guys are terrified about a public option, is because it will spread. You know, it'll be obviously sensible to have national health care. There's no reason to pay a third party $100 billion a week, which is what these insurance companies get, and they just keep it. They flat out just keep it. That's $100 billion sucked out of health care. Unacceptable. And a couple more things before I stop, but there's 4 groups of people health insurance won't take care of. Only 4 groups. 1, the very sick. Let's get rid of them, they're expensive. Schizophrenics, drug addicts, old people. Those gotta go, the very sick go. The next group, war veterans. People who come home from war are heroes, are returning heroes, who are physically wounded, psychologically wounded. They will not take care of them. That's the veterans' problem, the government's problem. That's two groups. The third group they won't take care of, the very old. That's why we have Medicare. Medicare was created because all these elderly people got kicked off health insurance. So we have so there's three groups of people right there they will not take care of. The very old, the very sick, and our war heroes. The last group they will not take care of are the poor. The working poor. So except for those four groups of people, private health insurance covers everything. Except for the very poor, the very sick, the very old, and people who come back from war, who fight for our freedom. That's unacceptable. So, in closing, I think it's not strategically strong to try and convince Senator Schumer and Senator Lieberman and all these people that we need a public option. Everyone knows when they're home alone having dinner or drinks, whatever it is they do, eating babies, whatever they do, they all know that we need a public option to compete as a nation on the international job market, on the domestic job market. It's the right, rational thing to do. So they know that. But we have to find a way to convince them to vote for it. And I think the way to do that is by really hammering the connection between a public option and keeping jobs in this country and creating jobs in this country. That's what I want to say to everyone. I wish everyone luck. And lastly, we need a public option, and we need it now. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Dave.
Woo!
Public option,
Nice.
Back up when I'm protesting.
Nice side.
Get some photos for someone else.